Welcome to the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Tuesday, July 23rd. This is Gina Palma. Today we'll continue to see increases in mostly dry thunderstorms across most of the Great Basin, especially over parts of the western fringes, northern fringes up into Idaho, and then over parts of western Utah. We'll also see a mix of wet and dry storms further north up into the central Idaho mountains. As we move through Wednesday and Thursday, we'll see deeper moisture move into southern areas of the Great Basin. So the area in green shows a mix of wet and dry thunderstorms over much of the southern two-thirds of Nevada and Utah, with possibly a few isolated drier thunderstorms around the northern fringes. However, today will likely be our most active day with respect to dry thunderstorms over the next coming days. Looking at the last 24 hours, you can see a good amount of lightning that stretches anywhere from western Nevada up towards northern Nevada and into Idaho yesterday, with also a few isolated thunderstorms across Utah. We also already have a few isolated thunderstorms in yellow that are occurring this morning over southeast Oregon into western Idaho. These thunderstorms were mostly dry, producing less than 1/10 of an inch of rainfall. Some of the brighter blue areas in the higher terrain you can see had above 1/10 of an inch, but again, for the most part, it was relatively dry lightning with fast-moving thunderstorms. These thunderstorms generated quite a few new fire starts across northern Nevada up into southwest Idaho and over eastern Idaho, and we also have several new large fires within that area. Otherwise, a few small fires reported across central Utah. Over the last 2 to 4 weeks, we've seen, again, continued very dry conditions, well below normal precipitation across all of the Great Basin, and the only precipitation we have seen has been in the northern areas and over the eastern side of the Great Basin, with, again, most of Nevada seeing little, if any, precipitation over the last 2 to 4 weeks or longer. ERCs have continued to rise across the Great Basin and are above the 80th to 90th percentile over much of Utah into southern and eastern Nevada, and are generally between about the 70th and 80th percentile across many areas of Idaho into northern Nevada. 10-hour fuel moisture is still very low across the region, and you can see in the area depicted in red, which is much of the Great Basin, showing, again, less than 3 to 4% fuel moisture. Looking at our ERC charts, you can see again how the ERCs have continued to rise rapidly and are now above normal or even near historic highs for parts of Utah into southern areas of the Great Basin. Again, this is largely due to the delay in the monsoon moisture. However, that moisture will continue to increase here over the next couple of days. Live fuel moistures continue to trend downward and are near to just below normal across the region. The satellite loop from this morning shows again the area of high pressure now dominating the Four Corners region, with plenty of moisture streaming north across at least the western two-thirds of the Great Basin. We have quite a bit of cloud cover this morning over eastern Nevada, and this will likely inhibit any thunderstorms initially this afternoon. Therefore, we'll likely see thunderstorms first start to develop over some of the clear areas of western Nevada and up into Idaho. And again, there are already a few isolated thunderstorms up across western Idaho this morning. We'll also see some thunderstorms develop initially over much of Utah and continue to increase through the afternoon. These thunderstorms, especially over western Nevada and Idaho, will be fairly fast-moving, so they might produce a little bit more precipitation today than we saw yesterday, but again, with how fast they will be moving, we will see the potential for dry lightning and also new fire starts. Looking at the weather pattern for later today, again, plenty of moisture streaming north across the Great Basin. We do have a large area of high risk for dry lightning across much of the region. The main areas of concern will be over western Nevada up into Idaho and also over parts of western Utah. Again, we are seeing quite a bit of cloud cover over eastern and southern Nevada this morning, which will inhibit thunderstorms initially, but we will see thunderstorms develop later. Moisture will also be increasing, but these storms will be moving relatively quickly, especially over western and northern areas of the Great Basin, which will limit the amount of precipitation we see in any one area today. Relative humidity also will be increasing as we move through today with the increased moisture, but still remain in the teens, mostly region-wide. And you can see the thunderstorm picture on the right showing where we're expecting the thunderstorms. Again, generally region-wide, but some of the areas that will see less lightning coverage will be eastern Utah and also far western Nevada near the California border, as some drier air will be working in, pushing some of those thunderstorms eastward. But we'll also see an increase in winds today along the Sierra front, so we could pick up some holdovers, or again, that will just continue to push these thunderstorms, moving a little bit faster off to the east. As we move into Wednesday, we do have the drier air moving in across Idaho. Therefore, the thunderstorms will be suppressed a little bit further south, generally over the southern two-thirds of Nevada and Utah. We don't have any high risk issued for lightning on Wednesday, as again moisture will be increasing, so we'll see more of a mix of wet and dry in the areas where we'll see lightning tomorrow. We will need to watch some areas over Idaho as that drier air moves in. If some of the winds pick up, we could see some holdovers tomorrow from the lightning we will see today. Relative humidity also will be dropping over Idaho into northwest Nevada as that drier air works in, but will be above generally 15 to 20% over the rest of the Great Basin. And you can again see where we're expecting those showers and thunderstorms on Wednesday. As we move into Thursday, we will see again most of the moisture in about the same similar areas, mainly across the southern 2/3 of Nevada and Utah. We could see a little bit moisture move into far northwest Nevada for some lightning activity, but again drier air in place across Idaho, with no high risk issued on Thursday, as these thunderstorms will continue to be more of a mix of wet and dry. Looking at the relative humidity, you can see again the drier air in place in the north and the higher humidity further south, which is where we'll see those showers and thunderstorms. Looking at the forecast amount of precipitation over the next few days, you can generally see we will see a little bit more moisture as we move into Wednesday and Thursday, so more precipitation across the southern 2/3 of Nevada and Utah associated with that lightning activity. Anything we do see today further north, again, mainly on the drier side, moving fairly quickly, so we'll likely see lower amounts of precipitation. As we move into Friday, that moisture returns to the north, so we'll likely see that lightning activity move back up into northern Nevada and Idaho. But again, you can see how much our fuels are moistening over the southern areas of the Great Basin. On Saturday, drier air pushes in across Idaho with continued lightning activity further south. And then we finally start to see a little bit more dry air work its way into many areas of the Great Basin on Sunday, and then also into early next week. Forecast amounts of precipitation over the next 7 days, mainly tied with that lightning activity across Utah and Nevada, is where we'll see some of the heavier thunderstorms. Further north, any heavier thunderstorms will be hit or miss. As we move into the end of July, into the early part of August, you can still see warm temperatures, but also that above normal precipitation signature for the southern areas of the Great Basin. Again, this is the continuation of the monsoon. That concludes our webcast for today. Check back tomorrow for the latest updates.